Hello Super Sentai fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I'm taking a look at the original S.H. Figuarts GokaiRed release. Why? Because of the new one. So the new one is coming out here in the time that I'm making this video, this current month of June. So right now this video is going to be released early as a Patreon exclusive video for the entirety of the month of June. So you're not seeing this publicly until July, but if you are a Patreon supporter, which will be linked in the description below, you're seeing this video right now, a month early like I said. And basically I wanted to take a look at this original release of GokaiRed because of the new one, because I never had the original release. And I got it for really cheap. So I got this on Mandarake for 1,200 yen. That's like $10. And I was like, well, I might as well. Especially because it came with this thing, the Gokai Darin, which is something I actually really wanted for the new one. Because this one actually will go pretty nicely with the new one. And that is the steering wheel that was used to control the Gokai Galleon. So I figured this was worth $10 in of itself. And I just kind of got the original release to go with it. So I was like, alright, we're winning. So this is missing one thing though, as far as I know, and that is the tiny little ranger key that this is supposed to come with, which is kind of ironic, because like you would think the one thing I would absolutely make sure that this had would be the tiny ranger key. But I was like, well, you know, it's fine. I'm getting a new one in like a couple weeks that is going to be infinitely better than this. But, you know, I figured this is the oldest Figuarts that I've owned at this point. And I was like, well, might as well. It's still kind of a nice thing to have for my collection. But I didn't stop there, and I'm not going to go much further than this. At least I don't think so. But Blade Raider on Twitter was selling this Gokai Silver for like 25 bucks. And I was like, well, he doesn't have a new one announced, at least yet. I mean, maybe he will. But I was like, all right, I sure. All right, I guess. So I have two of these now. So I didn't anticipate diving into the Gokaiger Figuarts kind of realm, but here we are nonetheless. So will I get the other ones? I hope not. I already have Super Mega Force figures, and I already have Shoto figures. I don't really need more Gokaiger figures, except for like if they ever do Lightning Collection ones, of course. But maybe I get the Bosco and Sally set, because like that's kind of cool, and like no other figure line's really going to do that. So like, I just wanted the Darin. That's it. I just wanted this, and now I have these, and it's happening, and it's so let's let's open them up and take a look at these older releases. So opening GokaiRed here, he actually has everything. He's just missing the key mode of the tiny little ranger key. So we still have the tiny little ranger key, but like $10 for this like pretty much entirely complete GokaiRed figure art? Yeah, I'll take that. Oh, he wobbly. He very wobbly. So I know the Gokaiger figure arts are from an era to where they're kind of prone to break pretty easily, but like, ooh, yeah. I don't really like that much. So I didn't want to take every single accessory out, like all the hands and everything here, because I just didn't want to lose them. But these are pretty nice for, you know, being like 10 years old or so. I basically am not really caring about the condition of GokaiRed, which is significantly the worst figure here in comparison to Gokai Silver, at least I think so. Due to the fact that I got him for so cheap, and I got him for pretty cheap as well, but like I literally got him for so cheap, like I said earlier, just to get the Darin. So like, and also the new one is coming out and everything, so I don't really care about that figure. But we'll take a look at Gokai Silver in a second. But like I just shown in the last clip, how wobbly this dude is. Thankfully, Gokai Silver, not really at all. I mean, there's like a very slight wobble that I kind of feel starting there, but at least on the one that I actually care about having here, it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, these accessories are good. Like, they're exactly what you'd expect. I'm not exactly sure how easy it is to dig this little... Okay. Dude, look at that. I cannot believe that the barrels move up and down on the saber and the gun. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. That is such a cool detail, but they are gorgeously made. Same thing with the Mobiarts, which honestly, I feel like this Mobiarts is almost the same size as the Shoto Super one. Like, it's very similar, in my opinion, to that one. But then, like, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. It's a tiny little GokaiRed Ranger key. It's so tiny. I love it. I love it a lot. It even has the correct key cut. Let's look at Gokai Silvers while we're this zoomed in. Look at that. It's the same key cut, I think. That's not going to be accurate, but you know, whatever. Who cares? It's such a tiny, tiny little thing. Same thing with the Gokai Cellular that he comes with, which has some pretty like amazing detail for being, you know, such a tiny thing, all things considered. But Yeah, I mean, these are great. I'm not sure. Well, obviously, you can't split this apart here. Well, I was going to say, I'm not sure if you have the anchor mode of this thing, but you wouldn't, because that would be Gokai Silver Gold mode, and that's not what this is. So, this is accurate and all good. So here is the Gokai Spear in gun mode. And then, of course, here is the Gokai Spear in spear mode, which is absolutely gorgeous. Very much a fan of that. And Gokai Silver himself, I think is pretty solid. I think it still holds up, honestly. It's not like the best proportions and stuff, I would say, you know, compared to like a nicer, newer Figuarts. And I'll probably bring 2 Kaiser in here in a second. So would I mind a renewal version of Gokai Silver? I suppose not. Do I really want to spend the money on one? No, not really. So, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I guess I wouldn't mind a Figuarts of gold mode, because there's not that many figures out there of gold mode that are like super nice. The Shoto Super one's pretty solid. And then that one I took a look at Project Unlock like 2 years ago is pretty solid. And then there is that Bandai America one that I never got. But like, I don't know, maybe a nice gold mode that can't do the armor swap or something like that to kind of just focus on that first and foremost. Probably wouldn't be the worst thing. Now, I think it's so strange. So you get this crossed arm pose piece for Gokaired, which is really funny to me because the new one can just do that. You don't have to have a whole thing for it. And I'm not sure exactly. I think, do you detach that here? Watch me break this on camera. I'm definitely going to break this on camera, aren't I? So we have to give you a pair of crossed arms. So I just think is kind of ridiculous, but it does look decent. These legs are going to just like explode. In fact, there's a tiny little piece of red plastic on my finger now, and I don't know where it came from, except for somewhere from him. So, you know, that's a great sign. Yeah, I feel like one day this figure is just going to kind of disintegrate, but that's okay. We don't care about him anyway. It does look cool, though. But see, now you can just kind of stand over... Wow, those legs are terrible. And that's the Darin, and it looks fantastic, so we'll get pouting Gokaired back over there so he can continue to pout. As he knows, his replacement is, as of the time of this video, like a day away from showing up to my house. So, but yeah, I mean, it's painted so nicely. I love the spinniness. Like, this is awesome. I love the Darin a lot. So, you know, Mandarake order, $12 for the original Gokaired and the Darin. Yep, absolutely worth it since they did not make the new one of this. But they didn't really need to. This is already as perfect as it needs to be. So that will be something on my display with my brand new Gokaired. Now, for just the fun of it, let's go ahead and bring in Figuarts 2 Kaiser. Now, obviously, Figuarts have definitely improved and advanced a little bit over the last 10 years, but I still feel like you don't have a terrible job getting Gokai Silver to kind of fit in there. The Gokaiger symbol is definitely a lot smaller on the older ones than on this one. This figure is gorgeous. Be sure to check out my review of that, and we'll definitely compare that with the new Gokaired, because that would be a little bit more of a better comparison. But honestly, yeah, like I said, I think if you get Gokai Silver here in a decent pose, you could probably have him blend in good enough, even though this is obviously a lot more of an improved Figuarts. But yeah, these are kind of my little Gokaiger display so far. I have no intention, and we'll see how long this comment ages, I have no intention of getting blue, green, pink, or yellow. However, that Bosco and Sally 2-pack, that'd be kind of cool. There's like no other figures of them. I don't really need Walt's Gills or whatever. I have his Super Mega Force figure. Don't really need that much, but I guess this is my little dip into the Gokaiger Figuarts, but obviously this is not my first dip into figures in general for Gokaired, so I figured to end this video, let's kind of take a look at just some, you know, fun variants, or not variants, but just my entire collection of Gokaired figures to date. So here's a comparison with the original S.H. Figuarts Gokaired with the Super Mega Force Action Hero, the Shoto Super figure, and his Ranger Key. And, you know, obviously we've had a lot of different scales and lines tackle Gokaired over the years. Honestly, though, my favorite of these four, besides being a Ranger Key, you know, that one obviously kind of winning to my favorites, but I really like the Shoto Super one, and that's because it's really nicely painted. You have so many different hands with this one, even more than the Figuart has, and it's the only one of these you can actually put the gold mode armor on, and Gokai Cross. This is the only figure line that's done Gokai Cross, so this is like the most comprehensive, and that honestly might even make it win over the new one that's about to come out, even though that one's going to probably look the best. But like, honestly, there's just some like weird proportions with this one. Like, I don't like how tiny the chest is. The helmet's a little tiny in my opinion. So honestly, this is probably my favorite Gokaired of these four. And this, you know, has kind of its own charm because I do like that Bandai figure line. But there's a little comparison between all the figures of Gokaired that I currently have until the new figure comes out later in June. And that's going to do it for this video here today. Just a fun little thing I wanted to put together here. Just some stuff that I bought recently and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm releasing this, like I said, at the very beginning of this video. First, as a Patreon exclusive video at the end of June here. So you're not going to be seeing this till like the end of July. You should have probably already seen my review of the better new version of this Figuarts. At least that's my intention, is that will already be out. Although this kind of technically is supposed to go first. That's why Patreon members are getting it first. But that's going to do it. So of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR, and I will see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, MCPC Studios, Comics 1017, James Darty, Eric Berry, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidus, CBT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, Hella Geo, Thrasher, Jesus Prime, Uni Warrior Thomas, and Lewis Carnes. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.